Soto?
It's a good question.
I'm weird. I'm a no because I don't like his defense. I think there's enough offense on this Dodgers team. I just like the winning plays element that the Dodgers had that they won the World Series with.
It is hard to argue with a 180 WRC plus, though, and adding that to the lineup.
But did he help? Was he a plus positive or a plus negative for the Yankees in the World Series?
Plus positive.
How so?
Because of what he was able to do.
I think his defense in right field was a plus negative.
Yeah, of course. But also, if you look at, let's take, for example, because I think there's a good chance that he's going to be in the outfield for the Dodgers next season, Teoscar Hernandez,
yes.
Which he was. He graded out as being one of the worst defensive left fielders in the game of baseball. He was not good defensively out there, which is why they had to do defensive substitutions for Chris Taylor. Now, if you look at Teoscar Hernandez's output during the season, it was about a 130 WRC plus,
right?
Meaning that Juan Soto was 50% better than a Teoscar Hernandez was on the offensive output. And he is on the upward trajectory of the aging curve. Juan Soto, based off all of his projections offensively and what he's able to do, is going to be a Hall of Fame player. Now, I'm not saying this. I haven't made a decision if it's in the best interest for the Dodgers to put all of their chips on him. Although with this Dodgers team,
that's the whole thing there.
They might have. At this point, I don't know how much of their chips that they have to be able to go, or if there's no limit on the amount of chips that they have. Obviously, Juan Soto is one of the best players in the game of baseball.
One of the best offensive players.
He's one of the best. Yes, he's one of the best offensive players in the game of baseball, and his offensive production, because of the level and extremity that it is, that takes away from the defensive limitations that he might have.
This is where the analytics and the coach differ. See, I firmly believe that the Yankees lost because Aaron Judge and Juan Soto sucked in the outfield, period. End of discussion. I mean, you can say all you want about them being able to hit the ball, having 180 whatever WRC pluses, but the Dodgers went and freaking caught the fly balls. The Dodgers hit their cutoff men. The Dodgers didn't make mistakes. The Dodgers didn't allow extra bases. And then they got enough offense and they made enough winning plays to create a formula that beat two eventual Hall of Famers in Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. So I think it was a huge factor, a huge negative factor, having both Aaron Judge and Juan Soto in the outfield for the Yankees. I think that was a big factor in the Dodgers beating them.
All right, so let's do this hypothetical right here because I want to see where the limitation. Let's push this limit a little bit. Which do you value more for this Dodgers team? The offensive upside and ability of a Juan Soto, or do you value the defensive ability of somebody who is probably well below league average but can play amazing?
You're not going to get that though. You're going to be able to get an above-average league offensive player and also a very, very, very good defensive player. The Dodgers have the chips to do that. You're not going to use we talked about the chips earlier.
Yeah.
You're not going to use all the Dalton Rushings and whoever it is that you're going to put, maybe even a Bobby Miller or a Kyle Hurt in a trade package and go get a below-average offensive player for right field. You're going to go get a player that is above average offensively and then also a good defensive player.
The question is, how much above average are they? I with this conversation with Juan Soto, what I was just trying to illustrate right there, which I think you acknowledge that Juan Soto is a great offensive player.
He's a great offensive player.
Absolutely great offensive player.
That really hurt his team in the World Series.
I disagree with what he was able to do on the field, and I think if you take into account one series or one 5-game stretch of anybody, you could find different ways in which they hurt their club.
But I think more balanced players, just like more balanced teams, tend to have more equalized production. They're not going to hurt their team in the way that Juan Soto is capable of carrying his team, but he's also capable of hurting his team as well. Whereas like a Tommy Edman, he's going to give you the same thing every day. And that wins on the margins in the playoff type scenarios. I think we saw that.
I absolutely think you saw that, and I think there is a role for a Tommy Edman on this team, but I think it would be I think just Juan Soto, with what he's able to do on the bat, which is extraordinarily well above
it is.
everybody else.
It is.
Not even close. It is extraordinarily above even the level of production that Teoscar Hernandez was able to provide.
He was pretty damn good offensively in the playoffs, Soto was. He hit
Yes.
327. He had an OPS of 1102. He had 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. So he had a pretty damn good postseason. He just did not have a good.
So the question is, would you want that? And let's just say that he misses 1 fly ball, but he's able to hit you 4 home runs throughout the season.
I don't want what he gave the Yankees in the World Series. If it's that version of Soto, I want somebody else, is what I'm trying to tell you.
And I think that is fair. I think if you look at the overall aspect of what type of player Juan Soto is, though, throughout his entire career and what he can actually produce, not just during a short 5-game sample, I think his production is actually really better.
He had 1 RBI against the Dodgers, and I can guarantee you he cost his team way more than 1 run.
I'm not arguing over a 5-game short sample. You
Right.
don't argue and judge a player based off of the 5 games, even if they are in a World Series type of environment. You judge the totality of where that player is at, and the totality of Juan Soto is a Hall of Fame player.
No doubt, no doubt. That's a great conversation. And of course, I'm playing a lot of devil's advocate because everybody would take Juan Soto, right? I mean, the only thing I'm saying is really the devil's advocate, the real devil's advocate that I'm making here is that really the guy that you dump all your chips to go get when you already have a great offense and you have the ability to also go get a really nice offensive player to add to the great offense that you already have?
Yep.
But also a great defender. I mean,
Yes.
I think you can find that guy too. That guy might, what I'm saying is a lot of times it's fit. Like you can give me numbers all you want about Teoscar Hernandez.
Yes.
But you want to know what the biggest contribution, in my opinion, that he gave the Dodgers this year?
What's that?
He was a perfect fit.
Yep.
He absolutely fit everything they needed. He hit left-handers. He was great in the clubhouse. He got some huge 2-out hits. The fans loved him. He loved being in Los Angeles. So, like I said, I mean, the coach is coming out in me.
Yes.
You can throw stats at me all day. What I'm going to tell you is I guess I gave you some explanations there. Teoscar Hernandez was invaluable because the way that he fit. Max Muncy's a lot the same way, and I bitch and moan about his offensive profile nonstop. But you always remind me, you do a great job of it. He has been a great fit with the Dodgers. Don't necessarily look at the things that he doesn't do. Look at the way that he fits into the puzzle for the Dodgers, and it has worked really, really, really well. So that's kind of what I'm trying to say about Juan Soto is, yes, sometimes players are so great they don't have to be a good fit, right?
Yeah.
Which you're saying he's one of those, and I'm not disagreeing with you. But I'm saying there are other players that could fit the puzzle for the Dodgers to the extent that they actually might fit the puzzle a little bit better.
Yeah, and that's an aspect that statistically, especially fitting the puzzle, fitting into the culture-wise, I'm not able to measure that really at all. That's not a measure that I'm able to. And there's also an argument, especially depending on the chips that the Dodgers have. Look, listen, the Juan Soto discussion was under the assumption that the Dodgers would have an unlimited amount of chips that they would be able to pull in which case they could make other moves. In reality, that's probably not the case, even though they could definitely be able to do some of that, in which case you can make an argument, and probably a really compelling and probably a smarter argument, that they should spread out some of their chips into a wide variety of different factors that can help make round the organization a little bit better. I think Juan Soto is an incredible player, and we probably will have more conversations about him in the future going forward. Will the Dodgers sign him? I'm not expecting it. He would be amazing because he is an amazing type of player, and that would add another Hall of Fame level player to this Dodgers team for the long run, in which case I'd be on thrilled. But we'll have to see what happens with this. Oh yeah, everybody else would, all the other teams would be so mad.
And they can all kiss my ass.